Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, back with the World Showdown Series, Season 3 playoffs. We're in the divisional round, and we're taking on Rainbow Taco, coach of the Adelaide Honchkrows? Excuse me. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. But yeah, we got the number 3 seed, finishing 8-3 with the +3 differential, meaning that we will take on the 6th seed, 4th place 5th seed, and then the winners will play the 1 and 2 seeds. So we'll play the number 2 seed if we win. I think that's important to note. Anyways, first and foremost, we must defeat the 6th seed, which I'm about to go over. His team is Z-Mew, Tapu Koko, Mega Charizard X, Suicune, Chestnut, Miltank, Gardevoir, Sneasel, Dusknoir, Rhyperior, and Empoleon. And we have the Manaphy, Garchomp, Heatran, Florges, Crobat, Mesprit, Galvantula, Komala, Alolan Persian, Golurk, and the Mega Abomasnow. So my opponent's got some pretty threatening things like Z-Mew, regular, even Mew without the Z move, like a Calm Mind variant or like a defensive annoying variant or like a Toxic Stall variant, something like that could be very annoying. Tapu Koko can be like a, I know it can't be like Specs or anything. I know it won't be Specs. It could be Scarf. It could be Specs with U-turn, I suppose. But locking himself into an electric type move when I have 2 ground types is a little unrealistic. So I don't see him being like a choice-like variant of Koko. So, well, I'll go into that in a minute. Mega Charizard X is a huge threat. Suicune as well. Chestnut could be annoying. Well, his entire team could be annoying. So we'll just hop into my team and talk about what I bring. So we got not a bulky Manaphy, but it's got a little bit of defensive investment with the leftovers: Tail Glow, Surf, Ice Beam, and the Energy Ball. So after a Tail Glow, I'm still not doing much damage to the Empoleon, but if that thing's gone, not brought, or weakened, this Manaphy actually puts in a lot of work, especially if, for example, say Empoleon and Tapu Koko are gone. I got rocks up, then Manaphy can sweep after a Tail Glow. Assuming that Zard and Mew don't win the speed tie and chip me down bit by bit. But yeah, I packed the Ice Beam for the Chestnut only, and I packed the Energy Ball for the Suicune only, and Surf hits literally everything else. Empoleon, I don't have anything in my arsenal to hit Empoleon with to begin with, so there's no sense in bringing it. And just hope the rest of my team, which is a ground spamming team, can beat down on the Empoleon. I think that's important to note as well. So I have enough special attack investment to knock out a non-specially defensive or a non-AV Suicune with Energy Ball after a Tail Glow, as well as always 2-hit KO and a max HP Charizard. Or, after a Tail Glow, I can always 2-hit KO a max HP Charizard that has no special defense investment with Surf. And basically everything else is already going to be 2-hit KO'd or O-code, depending on what they are. So, Manaphy can actually put in the work this week. Next up, we got a Choice Scarf Garchomp with Toxic, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Rest. I have Rest because, as you're going to see here in a second, I got the Aromatherapy in the back. So, what I can do here is throw off a Toxic on basically anything that he could switch into. Garchomp can Toxic the Mew, and then the Synchronize will Toxic me as well, but I can rest that off later, or just Aromatherapy it. And throw Toxics off on a Koko that comes in on a Dragon Claw. Can throw a Toxic off on Zard, Suicune, Chestnut specifically. It's basically what it's there for, since it's the only resist to this thing. So once I can Toxic and beat down some of my checks, then like a Choice Scarf, Earthquake can spam the end game and potentially win that way. So that's interesting, or noteworthy, I should say. Um, if if uh, if Chestnut is in Dragon Claw range, then I can obviously click Dragon Claw, predicting that thing to come in. And like I said, I can rest up in the late game if I come in on rocks, take a few hits, maybe come in on Flare Blitz from Zard. I can rest up, predicting that thing to switch out or something like that. Lots of different things I can do with this Garchomp set, and I think it'll put in the work. So next up we got Florges, which is a very key member here, passing wishes off to things like Manaphy that wants to come in on like Suicune Scalds, or like a Zardex Flare Blitz or something like that. Or potentially even like Rhyperior or Miltank going for an attack. I can just throw off a wish and then bring in my Manaphy, take the hit, and then get my wish. Make the wish come true is what it says. Protect, Wish, Moonblast, and Aromatherapy. Pretty standard cleric set here with max defense because my special defense is already insane. So no real reason to invest there. As he doesn't really have a special attacker, I fear Gardevoir can't really do much to me anyway, unless it's a setup variant, which would then cause me problems anyway. And then Suicune, I can switch in on it and Coco pretty comfortably. I do expect a physical Coco though with Wild Charge, because it will do a whole lot more to me than Thunderbolt would. When with the electric terrain, it could really be problematic if I didn't bring my two ground types. So yeah, Florges is also a nice check to Sneasel, and can just basically throw up wishes, and I guess it could be potential setup fodder for Zardex, but like I said, I can just throw a wish off, go out into my Garchomp or Manaphy respectively, or something like that, and then work my way from there. So yeah, that's basically what Florges is for. Next up, we got the we got the bad boy Ozzy Osbourne here, the Crobat with the Black Sludge Inner Focus. The Inner Focus is so that things like Miltank, Chestnut, even Sneasel and Rhyperior can't like flinch me with Rock Slide or Icicle Crash. Not that I would be staying in on an Icicle Crash from Sneasel anyway, but say I had to, or I was roosting it off or something like that, or if it was Scarf variant and wasn't very powerful or something like that. I don't know. Just don't. Infiltrator wasn't helping me much, basically. I guess. Wait a second. I'm thinking. I want to think that I changed this to Infiltrator so that I could get Toxics off on like a subbed up Mew or a subbed up Suicune. So I want to say I switched this to Infiltrator, but I'm not for sure, so I'm going to leave it on there as Inner Focus. So we got the Toxic, the Roost, the Super Fang, and the Taunt. So basically I can prevent Rhyperior, Empoleon, and Miltank from getting up rocks, and Chestnut from getting up spikes, and Mew from getting up rocks as well, with Taunt. And then proceed to Toxic anything. Mew can't synchronize me because I'm a Poison type. And then anything else can be Toxic besides the Empoleon, which I can also Taunt and Super Fang, and then Roost and beat it 1v1 anyway, eventually. I have enough speed to outspeed Sneasel, and then max HP, and then split the remaining EVs into both defenses, and it actually worked out perfectly. I got 64 EVs in defense and special defense, excuse me there. So Super Fang's really cool for the Chestnut and the Empoleon, even the Suicune and the Mew and the Miltank. If I can Toxic them and then Super Fang them, then I'll be in a good shape. And roost off their damage, make sure they can't set up with the Taunt, and this Crobat looks to be a problem. The only real issue is that Coco basically gets the chance to click the Thunder type move or the Electric type move, but he risks a Speed tie, even though I'm actually not that fast. So yeah, we'll move on to Mesprat here, and this is where the fun begins. We got a max defense Mesprat here with Stealth Rocks, so I can get, gotta have my rocker, and he has a Zardex, so rocks are like a priority here. Got the U-turn for momentum, and Trick Room and Toxic. So basically I can throw up a Trick Room if Zard wants to Dragonette or something. I can throw up a Trick Room and then proceed to be way slower and get a faster Toxic off, and then switch out into something like a Manaphy, Guard Chomp, pivot between them until he's, getting weakened down a little bit. And also, I could click Trick Room and this thing be sacked, and then I could bring in my Golurk. Ooh boy, here. Check out Golurk, a Life Orb, Adamant Max Attack Golurk here. Clicking Earthquake and Shadow Punch, supported by a kind of a toxic stalling team, kind of like a bunch of bulky offensive mons with late game Trick Room with this guy can really clean up. Basically, if I can get Suicune really low and Chestnut really low, and then and Miltank really low, or not really low, but if I can get them, with a good amount of damage on them, or at least get them off the field permanently, then I can under Trick Room I can spam Earthquake and Shadow Punch. Nothing's like Mew's dropping to the Shadow Punch, Coco drops to the Earthquake, Zardex drops to the Earthquake, Gardevoir drops to the Shadow Punch and the Earthquake because I am Iron Fist boosted Shadow Punches. Sneasel drops to the Earthquake after Rocks, Dusknoir drops to the Shadow Punch, Rhyperior drops to the Earthquake, and Polion drops to the Earthquake. Barberries, of course. I am Life Orb, like I said, Adamant Max Attack. So, yeah, Golurk's looking to put in some work here. I can also, I got Rest Talk on there. So what this means is, say I switch in on a Specs Coco with, going for Dazzling Gleam or something like that, and I get my wish back, and I know that he's going to hit me up with this Dazzling Gleam again, and it's going to do, say my wish gets me back up to half, but I know the Dazzling Gleam is going to get me really low. I can just click Rest and then take my chances with the Sleep Talk, as opposed to clicking Earthquake there and then being Revenge Killed, if that makes sense. But yeah, it looks like to be a pretty fun team in my opinion, and I guess we'll be right back with the replay. 1 second. Okay, so here we are with the replay, and he brings the Mew, the Suicune, the Charizard X, the Gardevoir, the Miltank, and the Tapu Koko. So he's got the potential Volt Turn or Turn, I guess, like double U-turn. He's got potential Z-move, Mew, Calm Mind Mew, Calm Mind Suicune, lots of things Suicune can do, Roarcoon, Vinecoon, all kinds of coons. Zardex is a huge threat, like I talked there in the team builder kind of thing. I'm pretty comfortable against Gardevoir. I do have Florges, Mesprit, and Crobat to all kind of, pivot around and make sure that it can't be too big of an issue. Same for Miltank. As I don't really have anything to straight up do massive damages to Miltank, if I can set up with my Manaphy, I can knock it out, and then I can Toxic Stall it with my Crobat. And yeah, basically talked about everything. He does. I can't really say anything other than what I said in the prep talk or whatever. Let's see here. So judging by his team, I wanted to lead with a couple different things, but ultimately decided on Crobat because I could taunt everything. So like if he led Mew, I could Will-O-Wisp it, and I knew I could live one hit from full, unless it was like a Psychinium Z, or maybe any kind of Z move that's super effective. However, he leads with the Miltank. I'm just going to go straight for the taunt and prevent that thing from setting up rocks, since I don't have any way to remove them. And now I'm just going to throw off a Toxic. And like I said, Mew switches in and gets synchronized, but I'm immune to Toxic because of my poison typing. And he's actually going to make a prediction here and go for the poison as I switch out. So had I clicked Super Fang there and then taunted him, I would be in a really good position. However, I'm going to be able to get my rocks up here, and then I can proceed to Toxic this Miltank as well. And if he has Heal Bell, then that's okay because I also have Aromatherapy. But he did get his rocks up, which is a bit unfortunate for me. However, he doesn't have a way to remove my rocks without removing his own rocks as well. So that's good for me. I'm going to go into Florges here and throw off the Aromatherapy and get rid of the poisons. And he actually goes for the toxic, so it works out great for me, as I can just throw off a wish here and proceed to Moonblast on the following turn. And I can do this a few times. I don't want to waste all my aromatherapies, and really don't need to worry about toxic unless it's like really, really building up, or I'm really low HP anyway. So I'm not really worried about getting rid of the toxic. Like I said, though, I can do it a few times before it's actually too problematic. So he goes into the Suicune here, gets the special attack drop. No real big deal in my opinion. I can just switch out here, go into my Crobat, and proceed to Toxic and Taunt, whatever I need to do, Super Fang, whatever I need to do to beat this thing down. And he's actually going to set up a Calm Mind, and then switch out, predicting maybe a Toxic. Maybe don't want to get Toxic, maybe doesn't have Rest. However, the Mew gets taunted, and then I'm going to switch right back out into my Florges as he reveals Ice Beam. So now we're pretty comfortable here. I can throw off a Wish, throw off Aromatherapy as well. Just going to throw off a Wish here as he goes into the Suicune. Everything's getting a little bit of chip on it now, so I'm getting pretty comfortable with the late game Golurk sweep under Trick Room. But here Suicune sets up a substitute, so a bit scary now. And he goes for the Roar as I throw in my Crobat. But I get roared out into my Manaphy, so it's probably the best thing I could have got roared out into. And I can just go for the Energy Ball here, as he actually goes for the Roar again, maybe predicting me to set up or something like that. However, it roars me out in the Crobat, and after taking Rocks damage, I'm going to need to Roost up here. And he goes out into the Mew, perhaps trying to Roost up himself. I'm going to taunt him and prevent that from happening, as I know I live the Ice Beam 100%. He's now going to switch out to Tapu Koko, as I'm going to go for the Roost, seeing what he wanted to go for there. I was hoping he would actually, I debated that turn for a while, maybe clicking Super Fang, but if he stayed in there, I didn't want to reveal Super Fang yet, so that's my reason for roosting there, as he would have also died to the poison on the following turn because it was doing 18% and he was at 19%. It could have potentially killed him there if Showdown's percentages were off, but in case they were correct, I could just roost up there, take the Ice Beam with, neutral damage, and then on the following turn, he would die, so no real huge issues there. He goes into the Koko though, so I'm going to switch out here. As he switches out into Mew, I'm going to click the Moonblast instead of the Wish, predicting the Mew to come in and want to try to roost up there. I couldn't allow that to happen, so Moonblast was my better play. Here he goes straight for the Calm Mind with Suicune as I go for the Wish. Now I'm going to bring in my Crobat, because I know I can take the Scald, even if it was a crit, and then get the Wish back, and then roost off the damage afterwards. And now he's in a position where he has to make a decision on if he's going to let his Suicune potentially get poisoned, which he does as I throw out the Toxic, and as you can see, Scald isn't doing that much. Now I can just roost off the damage here. As he switches out into Koko, I actually go for the Taunt to predict him, or to prevent him from going for things like Roar or Rest. Here I get the first Thunderbolt prediction correct as I go into my Golurk, and I am immune, and I force him out with a powerful Earthquake here. I reveal that I am Life Orb. It does 40% to the Suicune, and I know I'm really, really slow, so I know there's no way I'm outspeeding this Suicune, so I'm just going to switch out here into my Crobat, because I know I can take a Scald, even a crit, and then roost it off, as I do get crit, unfortunately, but like I said, I could take it, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm going to be left at around half after poison damage knocks him out. And now he brings in the Tapu Koko again, so I got a decision to make here. Am I going to go back out into my Golurk, predicting the Thunder type move, or the Electric type move, or am I going to go out into my Florges, predicting the Dazzling Gleam, or potentially a Hidden Power Ice? I'm going to go out to my Florges this time, predicting him to predict one of my ground types and go for a non-Thunder type move, but he goes for the Thunder type move or the Electric type move, but it doesn't do nearly enough thanks to Florges' insanely high special defense, and I can just throw off a Protect as he switches out. I just throw off another Protect to get another round of leftovers back, and kind of gauge what kind of what's his offensive move to hit me with. He goes for the toxic once again, as I can just throw off a wish here. And basically, since he's faster than me, I can always go for the aromatherapy and get rid of the toxic after being poisoned. So here I'm back at full, and he's got his Miltank in, and I'm going to predict a toxic here. And I get that right, and I can roost this damage off now. So that worked out perfect for me. I could have Moonblasted or something like that, but going into my Crobat and roosting the damage off was nice. So he reveals that he only has an Earthquake, but I can roost that off still. But I choose to go for Taunt here, predicting a Milk Drink on my roost, or he doesn't. Does he know I have Super Fang yet? I'm not sure if I've revealed that actually. However, he's getting me on all these switches to Coco. So he switches to Coco again on my Taunt. He gets that right again. And he's free to go for the Thunder type move. And I'm going to go into my Florges once again. Really, really hoping that he keeps clicking that electric move every time that it comes in. Here he goes into his Miltank, knowing that this is about the only free time he's going to be able to get that damage. What's the word? Drank off, I guess. He drinks the damage off with the milk drink. And I'm going to switch into my Crobat, knowing that he can't hit me. He literally can't hit me. He has Toxic Milk Drink, Stealth Rock, and Earthquake. So I knew he couldn't hit me right there on the switch in. He can hit me when I roost, but I get the wish back there, so I don't necessarily need to roost. And I can just throw off a Toxic here, predicting him to switch. However, he stays in and goes for the milk drink. So he gets me again there, as I didn't click the taunt. But you know, as soon as I click the taunt, he's going to go into the Tapu Koko. That's just how it goes. I'm just going to throw off another Toxic there, predicting him to switch into the Koko that time. But he switches into the Gardevoir. That's fine with me as well. I'm going to switch out into my Azelf here. My Mesprit, as he goes for the Thunderbolt and gets a Lucky Para. Bit unfortunate, but that's okay. As long as I can get my Trick Room up here, I'm in an okay position in my opinion. And I do just that. Can go out into my Golurk here and live any one hit, 100%, and be in a position to knock something out. So I go for the Earthquake underneath the Trick Room, knock out the Gardevoir, and now he brings in the Miltank. But I know he only has Toxic and Earthquake to hit me with, so I'm just going to rest. He can't do any damage to me. And now I have the option to Sleep Talk. But I'm just going to switch out here. No real reason to stay in. I can go ahead and get my HP back on Florges here, which will help me out against Coco later in the match. As he goes for the Wish, or the Toxic again, as I go for the Wish. No huge deal. It's not really a big deal yet. I can just go for the aromatherapy here, get most of my HP back, and potentially switch back out into my Crobat. So starting to play a little bit of mind games here, as he's starting to get, a lot more on the back foot there. He's adamant about going for these Toxics, although I've revealed aromatherapy. I'm going to switch out into my Mesprit here because I know he can't hit me. His best move to hit me with was Toxic, so I get my Wish back. So all my Mons are getting healthy again. I can just switch out here with the U-turn and get momentum back in my favor. Go back out into the Crobat and taunt this thing. Throw off a Toxic, predicting the Zard or the Coco, or I can just Super Fang. And that's what I'm going to do, predicting the Coco or the Zard in case he wanted to predict my Roost or my Taunt or anything like that. So down goes the Miltank, and he brings in the Coco. I'm going to switch out into my Florges as he goes for the Reflect. So a bit scary here. So my plan, I got a new plan now, is throw up a Wish. And then bring my Golurk in, because I know he's going to go try to go out into Zard and take advantage of my Florges. And then be in a position where he get set up tremendously. He cannot set up on this Golurk, even with the Reflect. And he goes for the Flare Blitz anyway, so the recoil put him in any kind of range of, any kind of move. Even if I was burned, he was getting knocked out. So he has to go for the Hidden Power Ice here, and then I'm going to bait him into going for the Thunderbolt. And I'm going to switch out into my Garchomp as he goes for the Thunderbolt, and I'm Choice Scarf, and he's revealed not to be, so I am faster, and I'm going to be able to knock out the Tapu Koko and win this battle 6-0. Long battle. but it was fun nonetheless. Excuse me. Good game. Again, Rainbow Taco. It was a good game. Really fun. Long, drawn out, but I felt like both of our preps were there. Again, good game. And yeah, let me know what you thought about the prep, the battle, etc. in the comment section below. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. We are moving on to the semifinals of the World Showdown Series, so that's hype. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching.